Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is time for game 2 for the PokerStrategy.com TSL3. We have just been having the most amazing results back and forth, but you know what? We both kind of agreed that this was going to be a toss-up here. Some great skill on both sides, one of them being a guy who's built himself up in Korea a little bit, and another one who has built himself up online and just showed us how well that's worked out for him as he took game number 1. That is Empire.Kas, our red Terran, in the northeast position, and we've got our blue Zerg, Liquid HayprO, in the southwest.
Can I just say how much I love the fact that Empire.Kas began with have fun instead of good luck, keeping the emphasis on the happy activity that is playing StarCraft 2. That's right. Because keep in mind, we all do this for fun at the end of the day, with the exception of some of the people who do this for a living. But no big deal. It's still a fun living, as I will always attest. Empire.Kas continuing to, looks like he's going for a little bit of a wall-off action, as most Terran players do end up doing. Early expanding a little bit more difficult on Crossfire. The most noteworthy aspect of this map, I would say, is that with all the attack paths, most of them are actually quite narrow. There's really no gigantic wide open space. It makes a lot of flanking difficult, but because there's so many attack paths, it makes counterattacking easy. So you have to be very careful of when and how you engage on this map.
No, that's actually really great point, and I'm sure that the people who have played on this map have seen how difficult it can be to navigate an army through some of these or risers, if you will, especially these ones that are very close to the natural on both sides of the base. There's just not a whole lot of surface area. So, you know, it brings out some of the great things that racially, you know, we won't go into all of them, but you can imagine between the Protoss, the Zerg, and the Terran. And so I really think that that's one of the interesting things about this map. Excited to see how it's going to play out. Also, the fact that it's pretty far away for these two players. And as you mentioned, navigation can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and I would just like to give a nice good old throwback to the good old Brood War days. For any of you who did not know, this map is a repurposed Peaks of Bakedu, which was my absolute favorite and best map in the Brood War days. I miss you, Peaks. Come back to me one day. We do see HayprO has gone for the Hash for his Expo, transferring those drones oh so timidly. Looks like actually trying to pick off that SCV. And I always love the fact that Zergs nowadays are not exaggerating the threat of that bunker rush. Just taking a couple of drones. Notice that Liquid HayprO popped 3 off and then put 2 right back to mining again. 2 queens popping out. Still no gas from HayprO. Loving these late gas Zergs nowadays. And Empire.Kas looks like he has taken the tech route in game 2.
Yeah, he did fire a couple of Marines down here just to take vision and possibly get any scouting drones that might want to come through there. And I don't know, Tay. I mean, I understand the philosophy of not getting the gas, but it just always seems like a scary thing to do. And it's one of the things that I have to appreciate about these pro Zergs when I get a chance to watch them, is that they really do skirt along the edge and try to just, how much can I get away with? And to constantly see that particular, you know, aspect of the game shift a lot, I think is really cool. So we got 4 Marines now moving down in what could be a small little attack here on HayprO.
And it looks like, oh, right as the spine crawler's burrowing, it looks like he targets the creep tumor. Such a cool play. I love that move by Empire.Kas, just knocking down that production round for that queen. And interestingly, we see Empire.Kas is getting the Hellion. Would not be surprised to see the Blue Flame Hellion coming out very shortly, or alternatively, he could be going for tanks just as he did in game 1.
No, it looks like Blue Flame is going to be on the way, and I like this as well. It can be very devastating versus a Zerg opponent if thrown out nicely. Now, he does know that there's at least one spine crawler out of there. That some guy's not just going to grow wings and fly away, so he's going to have to deal with that. But a lot of different sneaky things they can do. There's still a lot of areas. He could try to go right up into the main, do some damage right there. Those 4 Marines are making their way back home, and Overlord is going to go into the main. He does see the command center. He is going to see the factory. He's going to see the add-on come out, but I don't think he saw a Hellion, which might mean he's not going to be ready for that. No, he did not.
That was remarkable positioning by Empire.Kas at the last second there to pull that away. Most Zerg players would be expecting some sort of Marine tank push, or at the very least, a Marine tank expand, since there was that command center obviously down right there at the front. And it does look like Empire.Kas is going to be a little bit patient before moving out. We see 2 more barracks getting added on, but Empire.Kas is going to be going for a nice European-style small number of Marines plus Blue Flame Hellion push early. It wins a lot of games.
Now the first Zergling did get taken down to the watchtower. They did not have Blue Flame yet, but it's it might have just been given away right there. He's got to know that it's coming though, just based off the count of those. Few Marines mixed into here as well, and I am kind of scared here for our Zerg player. There are not that many Lings out with Blue Flame ready, and those Marines, there's be a lot of DPS here, and they can just melt through those guys. Got to watch out for those fine colors. Here they go. Big drone roast here at the natural. A bunch of Lings going to get hit as well. Marines not even brought in the mix. Actually very, very well handled there as he did minimize his damage. Now the Zergling's going to try to go after these Marines.
And the speed upgrade finishes. The poor Marines just getting surrounded, torn apart. That is a big danger with the Blue Flame Hellion. We say, Wheaties, that the eyes get big. You see those drones and you're like, I can win the game right now. And then you roast 5 drones, lose the Hellions, and the rest of the army that was needed to support is just totally vulnerable. So a little bit of a concern. It looks like Empire.Kas is going to start the game out behind at that point. We're seeing a lot of bunkers get popped down by Empire.Kas. Would have liked to see him have a little bit more patience with collecting that army together.
Yeah, and I think hiding the Zerglings helped out to HayprO a lot. He saw, the spine crawlers, saw the queen. The Marines really didn't get engaged at that at all, and that was probably the smart thing to do anyway. So HayprO hiding that just a little bit helped out. He now has some Lings in the middle here. He's got a Ling in the northwest expansion as well. Really, really bunkered up, expecting the possibility of some sort of counterattack, but it did not happen. And we do have another Hellion moving out. He might get on the surround, but he is going to retreat back just a little bit. Zerglings will smartly get back here, and we do have a factory, another factory going down, and then we've got a reactor coming up on that 3rd barracks as well. Stim halfway done.
We do see that +1 melee attack wrapping up right now, and one thing that we saw a lot in that last game is how important the +1 carapace upgrade is for Zerg, because those siege tanks, when siege, kill Zerglings in 1 hit unless you get that armor upgrade. So a ton of Zerglings fell to that tank fire of Empire.Kas when they really didn't need to. Would love to see some sort of carapace popping out for Zerg, but no, instead there's the +2 melee going down. Roach speed, Baneling speed, all the usual layer tech speed upgrades going down as HayprO begins to saturate that bottom right expo with plenty of drones.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. It's not the easiest, not necessarily the easiest expansion to attack, and there is some mobility for the Zerg to get there fairly quickly, especially if they do take out those rocks in the back. And I just doubt that you would see an attack come the long way over to that. So I think that is a smart move for HayprO, and probably one of the reasons why he's watching his opponent's side as well. So we do have the expansion well underway and doing good here for Kas, and he looks like he is going to start moving his units forward just a little bit. Now, with that surface area that we talked about and it being hard to maneuver your units, if a tank line can siege up there, it can also be very hard and difficult for the Zerglings and the Roaches and the Banelings to get any type of surface area. So as they move down here, that's one thing we'll be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, that watchtower that Kas is heading to right now, very, very important point on the map. Just sieging up 1 tank there or leaving 1 Marine there, that easily covers the back path, and it looks like Kas is going to be trying to squeeze through here, but right at this narrow choke is where he's going to begin sieging up. He knows that this is the vulnerable spot. He's beginning to advance forward, does get a shot off on that Queen, and it looks like we'll be able to take it out. Whoops, a little bit of sloppiness there by HayprO, and also with those creep tumors falling, Empire.Kas is going to be able to advance with a little bit more ease of mind as he knows that those Banelings and Zerglings won't be able to surround as easily. Another command center going down in the main of Empire.Kas, and look at the Baneling count. 22 getting morphed in. I can't wait.
Yeah, this is a bit scary. I think he might try to swing a few around to the back, possibly to take out any oncoming reinforcements or to flank, but I don't know where those guys are coming. We've got another Terran force moving up here, more Marines and 3 more tanks. Looks like 1 tank is going to unsiege, and there will be leapfroggage here. We do have a lot of roaches. Well, when I say a lot, I mean there's about 18 or so. And here we go, an attack coming up here on the front. Banelings will go in. There's a wall of siege tanks, though, so there's still a lot of Marines left. And look at that line of Banelings get absolutely crushed. And that extra force that he had, I mean, there was literally like a siege tank wall in right there.
Kas with the amazing positioning. There's the Marines continuing to press forward. Keep in mind, no medevacs at all, so that does mean these Marines are getting weaker and weaker as time progresses. 20 Zerglings, 10 Roaches popping out for HayprO, but it looks like HayprO is going to have absolutely no way to defend that bottom right, and I really do not like the stim choice by Kas. This does mean that Kas is going to have almost dead Marines. We do see some Roaches pop out there with the siege tanks. Do manage to take out a couple of Marines. Zerglings now streaming in. Do not like this attempt by HayprO as he tries to pop up. He is just hemorrhaging units at this bottom right expo. With the Banelings that pop out, there's the Broodlings that pop out. A surprising win there by HayprO, but still he lost a lot of units trying to stream up that ramp, and HayprO is going to take the chance to expand to the left side of the map now as well.
And now we see Kaz kind of moving into that mode that you had talked about in the last game, where he just kind of chips away, and how much more damage can I do now? And let me take a few more units away from you until eventually there's not much to be able to deal with these. He's got another healthy group of Marines and siege tanks coming up. He will siege a little late on that. He will only take out a couple of units in that. And you can see we do have this third that is going to go down here for Kaz as soon as they get rid of this burrowed Zergling. That is underneath there. That's unfortunate. And Kaz is up here on this high ground near this tower, sieged up. This is so nasty because it cuts off 2 of your exits out of the base. Actually, all of them pretty much.
And oh, look at the right expansion. HayprO blocking the missile turrets and finishing. Going to keep that burrowed Zergling there with those Mutalisks, those fresh, brand new little additions to the Zerg army. Does look like you will be able to pick off that missile turret, and the command center now quite vulnerable. And if we even take a brief step to look into the main, we see the Empire.Kas is essentially mined out there. So these Mutalisks now continuing to swing back around, picking off more of those SCVs, and Empire.Kas again with a stim on the Marines for nothing. I mean, the tank Marine style is very, very powerful in a big one-punch push, but if the Zerg continues to just not engage, it can be very, very costly on the lives of those Marines.
Yeah, and he's going to slip through those Marines a little bit more, maybe trying to force another stim, but they aren't going to be baited that time. Siege tanks are starting to move forward just a little bit. Mutas are going to be called back to the base, and seeing what's on the production tab, more Mutas and a couple of drones trying to make their way over to the other base. They will get caught short. Now, here's the thing is that, okay, yeah, he did some cool damage here with the Mutas. Oh, no! Rallied Mutas get annihilated by these Marines in the middle. The Mutas are going in for another round of attacks, but again, as I was about to say, Day, is that you do some great things with the Mutas. Okay, well, 31 Zerglings and 23 Banelings, is that going to be enough to take care of the ground army? And, you know, I think this is kind of the same position that HayprO got himself into in the last game.
And look at the number of tanks in the middle of the map. We see 10 tanks hanging out together, sieged up by those watchtowers. And it looks like Kas is slowly going to begin working his way over to the left with all of these Marines. By some burrowed Banelings, needs to be careful, and HayprO doesn't notice. HayprO, and it looks like he unburrows, deeply embarrassed. And there's the stim of those Marines, and it looks like he's just going to be darting forward, but no dice for the Marines. Banelings arrive, take out exactly 1 Marine, but that burrow is what helped keep those drones alive. And we're seeing Empire.Kas have a huge army, but doesn't quite know where to go with it. Is going to try to re-dash down the bottom right side.
Oh, and here he's going to move forward. Tanks are not sieged up. Aliens could do a huge amount of damage here, and they will take out, oh my god, so many tanks. In come the Mutas, and they're like, yeah, we did all this, but not really. The Banelings, who are now all dead, take out a majority of that army, along with some Zerglings. There's a few Roaches and some Mutas left over. So this is what HayprO wanted to happen in the last game, where he had the effective harassment and then followed it up with a very successful attack. And, you know, if any attack is going to be successful on this map, that certainly was very, very nicely done there by HayprO.
Yeah, that's a really great example of being a little impatient from Terran. Kas was so careful in that first push, but in that second push just tried to sprint and go because his Marine push on the left and his expansion on the right were not working out. Have to have a little more patience than that. We see HayprO continuing to try to poke around with some Mutalisks, taking a couple of hits from those Thors. Well, it doesn't really matter as much because HayprO is trying to open up more counterattack paths. He knows that he can continue to just slowly put pressure on Terran now that he has a big lead.
Yeah, I kind of like this idea of opening up the back, sending in a ton of Zerglings, maybe take out that base, or just force your opponent to focus on that area a little bit. So rocks are down. Don't see necessarily any follow-up. We do have some roaches that are burrowed here in the middle of the map, and a couple of lings out here as well. But let's take a look at the production tab. Those roaches are going to move back. We now have ground carapace level 2, more banelings being morphed, and we're also getting the Muta carapace upgrade as well. So it looks like he will continue here with this unit composition, and it's been working out well for him, but he just hopes he doesn't fall into that same trap that he fell into in Game 1.
Looks like Empire.Kas now well aware that his backdoor rocks have been knocked down, sending his army up there for a brief period. We see the mules now swinging to the right side. There's not enough missile turrets there to repel, and it looks like Kas trying to do everything he can to repair, but no, it is not going to be good enough. We see another missile turret going to fall, and once that back one does get taken out, it means that HayprO has free reign over the mineral line, but all the SCVs are now dead, so it means that literally no mining really happening there at that right expo. Kas now swinging far left on the map and trying to work his way down to that auxiliary expo for HayprO.
Yeah, I would actually love to see some more burrowed banelings here in this exchange. I think there'd be an opportunity here, but it looks like we're going to have the Terran moving through the middle of the map. He wants to get back to the position he was in before. More banelings are morphing in. Now, the big difference here is a lot less tanks, a couple of Thors, but still a lot of Marines. And one thing that HayprO's done a great job of is just the elimination of those Marines. So I do think that he's got enough of an army composition, as long as there's not a huge amount streaming in from the Terran. I think it'll be successful here, and we do have him moving forward.
Nice little unburrowed baneling play there by HayprO, picking off a couple of those Marines, but I think the real danger for Empire.Kas is this right expo. HayprO has his sights targeted, and it looks like Mutalisks now swing around to the backside. There is yet another missile turret there that is trying to get repaired, and it looks like HayprO going to have to pull back yet again, but a couple burrowed banelings make their way up, burrow down there. We do see 3 Marines from Kas still trying to pick away at that hatch at the left, and I don't think HayprO is going to have enough time to pick it off, but burrowed banelings pick off more Marines heading towards that expo, and here comes the push from HayprO.
Oh, and I'm not sure. I mean, he's going to have to take out this planetary fortress. Certainly going to suffer some losses here, but here goes it. Well, he used the baneling, so I wasn't sure he was going to do that, but apparently that's just how you get the job done, and he will manage to take that out, no problem here. So another small victory here for the Zerg, while the Terran army's like, come on guys, I'm trying to push through here as fast as I can and get over there. Very nicely done.
We only do see 2 mineral patches left for Empire.Kas. He is almost dead broke on resources. He still is trying to mass up enough units to just do one last final push, but Kas has his tank sieged. He's in defensive mode. I mean, Kas really is going to have to just end up trying to win with one big final attack, now lifting his main command center to the top left, but in the unit station we see only 22 SCVs out right now for Kas. Really, his options are running thin.
Oh, and those mutas almost went up to scout the top. Oh, yes, I think that he saw the SCVs over the Zergling. Mutas are going to likely come in here, and what mutas? Oh my gosh, they might want to come back because the Terran army moving through the middle. It is a tough decision to make. Oh, we got a huge fungal growth coming out on those initial Marines. Remember, no medevacs out, and that, oh, I love it. I love it. And look at how apprehensive now the rest of the army is to move forward. We're going to have an unburrow, and there are so many units right there. Before the tank siege up, will they go in? No, they're going to start dealing massive damage. He's going to have to move forward.
And it looks like that Infestor has sights targeted on those Marines, but no! Kas gets back in time. Kas somehow winning that fight. We do see a lot of banelings in production again. for HayprO as he tries to scramble to reproduce these units. You never want to lose to this final attack, but good game from Kas. With no medevacs, there was no hope to heal any of those Marines, and it looked like we are all tied up 1-1. Another match going on to Game 3 week.
Yeah, and that's the way I like him as well. I think that Kaz did the right thing. He was looking for one more attack. If you saw the end of that map, you saw that there was really nowhere for Kaz to go. He had the one burrowed Zergling in the northwest that pretty much stopped any chance of him getting a start at that point. Dealing with that, knowing that the Zerg's going to just continue to get further ahead, it was a good choice to GG here. But 1-1, and we said this game would be pretty close and equal, and I think that's exactly what we've gotten so far.
Yeah, very, very cool play right there by HayprO. I mean, I especially love how much he was relying on the counterattacks right when things were getting really hairy looking. He just swung his Mutalisk around, denied Kas more expoing, and those pushes that were so scary looking seemed to just slowly weaken as his ability to reinforce diminished down to nothing.
And oh, sorry, I was just loading up the next replay day. I'm just like that excited. I'm like, okay, let's just go. Be like, yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
That actually is a great point, What are we waiting around for? Let's go directly into the last game between Liquid HayprO and Empire.Kas. Whoever wins this will advance to the round of 16. More Day 4 action here at the Team Liquid Star League round of 32, sponsored by PokerStrategy.com. Don't go anywhere. See you in about 2 minutes.